At the time of recording this, there's 1 day, actually less than 1 day left until the Nintendo Switch 2 releases. And the purpose of this video is I want to make some predictions about the future of the Nintendo Switch 2, how successful I think it will be, what games I think will be released, and everything in between. The success of the Nintendo Switch 2 has been hotly debated for the past months. With all the pricing decisions Nintendo has been making, it's really been hard to put a pin on where this system will land on the failure or success ladder of Nintendo consoles. But from my opinion, I personally think it will be a success, but it will not reach anywhere close to the levels of Switch 1 success, because this price, whether you like to admit it or not, is way more expensive than any of the previous Nintendo consoles, even with inflation being considered. And with game prices increasing as well as console prices, I just don't see how this system will last in the future the same way the Switch did. Moving on to a more interesting and fun topic, the games that will be released this year. And I think for this year, I believe we've seen pretty much Nintendo's entire slate for this year. I believe Mario Kart will release in June, Donkey Kong will release in July. October game has already been revealed to be Pokemon, and I think everything else just slots in nicely. You know, in August you have Dragon Drive, in September you have Metroid Prime and Holiday Slot, and then just at the end of the year, like Xenoblade for 2017, we'll have Hyrule Warriors in December. I know a lot of people believe that there is a 3D Mario or a Luigi's Mansion that Nintendo's hiding, but I don't see it, and I think what they have now really is the year. And even with what we have now, that's still quite a great year that I think many people are underrating. Unpopular opinion, I think in November we'll have Kirby Air Rider filling in that. In terms of what I expect to see next year and the years following, I expect all the big franchises, well, at least most of the big franchises, to be released on the Switch 2 in the next 2 to 3 years. So I think Smash will come back around in the next 2 years. I think Animal Crossing they'll get, and maybe in the third year of the Switch 2. I think they want to get Splatoon in as early as possible. I think they especially want to get Zelda as soon as possible, though I don't think they'll be able to get all the Mario spin-offs, another Mario Party, because they're quick to make. Basically any big game you can think of, it'll be there. Another thing is the future of the pricing, and a lot of fans hear pricing and they get absolutely scared because of all the hating of Nintendo's pricing that has been going on, but it's important, and I think we need to come to the reality that Nintendo probably won't drop their prices. At least this current era of Nintendo won't, unless they get extreme pushback, like no sales and the pricing is a really big source. But I just don't see a reality where they drop the price, and that's annoying, but I think that's how it's going to be. I do believe that there won't be as many $80 games as we are expecting there to be. I don't think a majority will be 80. I think a majority will remain 70, but then the big games like your Zeldas, your 3D Marios, maybe even your Smash will be $80 because Nintendo believes that they're worth that price. In terms of the console itself, don't expect any sales. Expect bundles, but don't expect any sales. Last but absolutely far from least is longevity of the console, how it will stack up in the next few years against the console that we have on release, what handhelds will be coming out to compete with it, and where will Nintendo stand in the next few years. And I think it's quite obvious to say that PC handhelds are not mainstream. No one is really buying them, no one really cares about them, and there's absolutely no point for Nintendo to fear them because they don't have any impact on their market. So let's just remove them. But what about Sony and Microsoft? What about what they do? What they do will 100% affect Nintendo because they have the power and the exclusives, or at least Sony does, to combat Nintendo. If Sony comes out with a handheld, they will have the exclusives and they will be able to attract people. So it's up to Nintendo to keep using the power that they have now, no matter what comes out later, to create good, informative games that don't focus on graphics, but focus rather on creativity and innovation. And if they do that, I don't think anyone will be able to compete with them in the handheld space. And I think, at least now, this generation will be better than the last one in terms of longevity, because it has more power and they're future-proofing it. overall for us consumers, it's better that there is more competition so that Nintendo is pushed to be their best. All the moves they've been making recently, we've been seeing the darker side of Nintendo that's really been there the whole time, but has really come to the newest light because of all the recent success they've had and the confidence that they've gained. We can only hope that the games they release continue to be fun, even with all the choices that they're making, and that hopefully one day they can be pushed to reduce the price and have actually good consumer practices for once. I wouldn't expect that to happen, but one can hope. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.